Mark Davis, the same owner who once built an in-stadium nightclub, drives a white minivan, and has been roasted for his haircut since 2005, is now the architect of the boldest quarterback play of the decade. Shedeur Sanders didn't just join an NFL team. He redefined what it means to be a modern quarterback in this league. No combine hype. No drawn-out QB competition. No earn your stripes behind the vet storyline. Just a straight-up $80 million.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Front page headline, Nuclear-level franchise bet. Iconic behavior. Because while half the league was asleep at the wheel, clinging to pro-style offenses and QB room culture, the Raiders quietly took one look at Cleveland's dysfunction and said, "We'll take it from here." Now let's talk about the Browns, shall we? Because if Vegas just won the lottery, then Cleveland just left their ticket in the dryer and washed away a future dynasty. You had Shedeur. You drafted him. You shelved him. You buried him behind quarterbacks whose names are only relevant on the injury report. You didn't develop him. You didn't empower him. You didn't even market him. And now he's gone, in a black and silver jersey, holding a check that could buy the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Cleveland is in full meltdown mode. The fans? Rioting on X, formerly known as Twitter, demanding front office resignations like it's Black Monday. The locker room? Quiet, confused, tense. The media? Piling on like it's open season. And honestly, they deserve it. Because this isn't just a bad look. This is organizational malpractice. Meanwhile, back in Vegas, the city is buzzing. And not just because of the Bellagio fountains or whatever magician residency is currently happening down the strip. This is real football hype. Something the Raiders haven't had since what? Rich Gannon? Suddenly, every sports radio show, every talk show host, every podcast with a mic and an opinion is pivoting from the Raiders are rebuilding to, wait, are the Raiders a serious playoff team now? Because Shedeur isn't a project. He's not some raw prospect you hope turns into a star in 5 years. He's a ready-made brand, a leader, a composed high IQ, camera-ready franchise, QB, who's been trained since birth to own the spotlight. Let's not forget, this kid grew up in locker rooms, not playgrounds. His life was the NFL long before he got here. He's been media-trained, scheme-savvy, and pressure-tested since his Pop Warner days. You think a little Vegas pressure is going to shake him? Please. This man was answering primetime press questions in college better than half the pros do now. And let's not gloss over the money. Because that's the loudest part of this story. $80 million guaranteed. That's not a contract. That's a message. To the rest of the league, this is what belief looks like. And to every quarterback waiting in the wings, to every young athlete watching from a college dorm room or draft prep facility, this is proof that you don't have to wait your turn anymore. If you're ready, and Shedeur is beyond ready, you don't need to play the game the old way. You can be the game. Now, let's zoom out to the rest of the AFC West. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Shedeur Sanders. That's not a quarterback division. That's a movie franchise. Every matchup is now must-see TV. Every press conference, a potential viral moment. Mahomes is the magician. Herbert is the sniper. Shedeur, he's the disruptor. He's coming in with fire in his veins, receipts in his back pocket, and a target on everyone's back. And don't think he doesn't know it. He knows the critics, the whispers, the ones still calling him overhyped, overpaid, overexposed. But Shedeur doesn't need to clap back on Twitter. He'll answer on the field, in prime time, with touchdowns. And while all this unfolds, while Vegas rises and Cleveland crumbles, the rest of the NFL is now in one big, collective panic meeting. Because this signing has just blown up rookie QB contract norms, accelerated the rise of athlete-first branding, forced teams to rethink how they treat young talent, exposed franchises still clinging to the way things used to be. This is more than a player changing teams. It's a shift in power. Athletes are no longer just employees. They're entities. They walk in with fan bases, brand partnerships, social media reach, and, most importantly, options. Shedeur had options. And Cleveland lost him because they acted like he didn't. Let's fast forward to Week 1. Allegiant Stadium. Blackout uniforms. National anthem still echoing through the rafters. The camera cuts to Shedeur. Calm. Focused. Visor low. Eyes locked in. The ball is snapped. First play, deep post. Touchdown. The stadium erupts. Somewhere in Cleveland, a remote gets spiked. And just like that, a new NFL era has begun. So the only question left is this. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for a league where players call their own shots? Where the youngest guy in the room has the biggest voice? Where talent doesn't wait, it walks in, gets paid, and wins. Because Shedeur Sanders didn't just get signed. He set the bar. And the rest of the league? Better catch up. Now it's your turn. Did the Raiders just make the boldest move of the decade or the riskiest gamble in franchise history? Will Shedeur live up to the hype or exceed it? Drop your take in the comments and let's talk it out. And if you love chaos, comebacks, and quarterbacks with main character energy, hit that subscribe. Because if this is how the season starts, you won't want to miss how it ends. You got a young quarterback, smart, poised, ultra-marketable, who was being mismanaged into oblivion by a team still living in the past. Sitting as QB3, no development plan in sight, no real support system. Just vibes and wasted reps. Meanwhile, all around him, the entire league was starving for quarterback talent. We're talking famine-level desperation. Franchises trading away draft capital like it's monopoly money just to gamble on the next, maybe possibly hopefully franchise guy. And Shedeur was right there. Not developing. Not being groomed. He was waiting. And someone somewhere, probably in a smoky back room at Allegiant Stadium lit like a scene from Ocean's 11, finally asked the most dangerous question in sports. What if we just skipped the process and bet on the truth? Because the truth was obvious to anyone paying attention. Shedeur wasn't a project. He was the product. And once the Raiders saw that, it was game over. Mark Davis didn't just sign a quarterback. He hijacked the NFL's timeline. He pressed fast forward on a rebuild and paused the careers of every GM who passed on Shedeur. Because now, they've got to explain themselves. And you know who hates explaining themselves? NFL GMs. You think these guys want to admit they were outplayed by a dude in a white tracksuit and wraparound sunglasses? You think they're thrilled that Mark, just win baby Davis, just outmaneuvered an entire tier of conservative, slow-moving front offices? Not a chance. Which is why you're going to hear a lot of noise. A lot of he hasn't proven anything yet. A lot of Vegas overpaid. A lot of anonymous quotes from league executives who are definitely just bitter they missed out. But none of it matters. Because Shedeur already won. He got the deal. He got the team. He got the respect up front without having to be anyone but himself. That's revolutionary. Now, let's zoom in on how this affects Vegas. This isn't just about throwing touchdowns. It's about throwing identity. The Raiders haven't had a true face of the franchise player in years. Yeah, they've had stars. They've had moments. But that cultural center of gravity, that guy who defines the vibe of the team, the city, and the future, they haven't had that since what? Bo Jackson? Tim Brown? Maybe Derek Carr if you squint? But Shedeur? He's not just a quarterback. He's a brand accelerator. A walking synergy machine. The minute he stepped into Vegas, ticket sales jumped. Jersey pre-orders spiked. Local sponsors started circling like buzzards with gold-plated checkbooks. He's the kind of player who sells you hope, not the flimsy kind, but the kind you can put on a billboard and mean it. And Vegas knows exactly what to do with that. They're not just building a team. They're building an event. Shedeur brings the spotlight. Vegas brings the stage. Together, that's box office. But let's not pretend this is just about flash. Because that's what the critics are going to say, right? That this is all sizzle, no steak. That Shedeur hasn't proven himself in the league. That the Raiders just got dazzled by social media clout and Coach Prime's charisma. Wrong. What those people are missing, what they've always missed, is that Shedeur Sanders is more than marketable. He's deadly accurate. He's composed under pressure. He's film-obsessed, field-aware, and never overwhelmed. He reads defenses like they owe him money. He's football smart in a way that scouts can't quantify, because it doesn't fit neatly on a spreadsheet. And that's the part of him that made the $80 million worth it. Because Vegas didn't pay for potential. They paid for readiness. They paid for a player who's not just prepared to be a star, but who knows exactly how to carry it. That's what makes this move so scary for the rest of the AFC. You're not facing a rookie. You're facing a rookie who came in with main character energy, high-speed instincts, and the full blessing of the NFL's loudest hype machine. Meanwhile, let's pour one out for Cleveland. Or don't. They did this to themselves. They fumbled the most important decision a franchise can make, identifying and empowering your quarterback. They didn't just misread Shedeur's talent. They misunderstood the moment. The league was changing, and they acted like they had time. Newsflash, they didn't. And now they're stuck in quarterback purgatory, watching highlight reels of the guy they let walk, and reading tweets that say things like, "The Browns had Shedeur and kept him on the bench?" Yeah, that one's gonna sting for a long time. Especially if Shedeur starts stacking wins in Vegas. Which, let's be honest, isn't just possible. It's probable. Because he's not walking into a mess. He's walking into a system designed to support him. A team built to pivot. A franchise hungry for relevance. A city ready for a football resurrection. That's not pressure. That's momentum. Now picture this. It's mid-season. Raiders are 7-2. Shedeur's lighting up defenses like Christmas trees. The MVP chatter starts. The merch is selling faster than the Strip's hotel rooms on fight night. Meanwhile, Cleveland is on QB3. Again, press conferences sound like hostage videos. The fans are booing ownership before kickoff. And all across the league, teams are asking one question. How did we miss this? That's the thing no one wants to admit. That they had the blueprint in front of them. They saw the poise. They saw the arm. They saw the charisma. And instead of betting big, they played it safe. And Vegas did what Vegas does best. Went all in. And they're already winning. So let's be clear. This wasn't just a transaction. This was a power shift. In the NFL. In sports culture. In how we define value. In how much we respect athletes who know exactly what they bring to the table. Because Shedeur didn't need to prove he could be a franchise quarterback. He already was one. Vegas just had the guts to act on it. And now, the NFL is watching. The league is adjusting. And the future? It's wearing silver and black, staring downfield, and calling his own plays. This isn't just a record-breaking contract. It's a signal flare for the future. Let's talk about the psychology of it all. Because this entire deal isn't just a headline. It's a declaration of power. It's a young quarterback walking into the league and saying, "I'm not here to climb the ladder. I am the ladder." And the NFL wasn't ready. They weren't ready for a quarterback who didn't want to wait his turn. They weren't ready for someone who already had a brand, a following, and a business mindset before his rookie jersey even dropped. They weren't ready for a quarterback who came into the room with leverage. And that's the part that stings for traditionalists the most. Because Shedeur didn't ask for permission. He negotiated like a veteran, moved like a CEO, and executed a deal that would have sounded absurd just 2 years ago. $80 million guaranteed. For a quarterback who hadn't even started an NFL game. That's not just money. That's belief, compounded with urgency, multiplied by Vegas-sized guts. And you know what? It's exactly what this league needed. Because the NFL has spent years recycling the same stories. Draft the golden boy. Sit him behind a journeyman. Wait 2 seasons. Let the media spin. Hope he doesn't bust. But Shedeur isn't the golden boy. He's the storm that showed up during the opening act. He's the glitch in the formula. He's the rare player who has been trained for the spotlight longer than most front office executives have been in their roles. And now that he's been handed the keys, he's not walking. He's flooring it. Now let's address the "he hasn't proven anything yet" crowd. You know them. They live in comment sections. They quote passer ratings from 2017. and they still think pocket passers are the only real quarterbacks. To them, this whole deal looks reckless, flashy, premature. But here's the thing. Shedeur didn't get this deal because of what he's already done. He got it because of what the Raiders believe he's about to do. And you don't throw $80 million at a maybe. You do it when you've watched every snap, every presser, every audible, and said, yeah, that's our guy. Let's remember, this kid didn't just perform at Colorado. He commanded attention. He carried a program. He made one of the most mid-tier college football teams into appointment viewing. How? By showing leadership that translates, presence that scales, and confidence that doesn't feel forced, it just is. And now he gets to bring that same energy to a team that spent the last decade desperately searching for an identity. Let's talk Vegas, because this is where the fairy dust turns to fire. This isn't a city built for safe bets. It's built for spectacle. And Shedeur Sanders is primetime personified. He's the kind of player who could make a Tuesday night game feel like the Super Bowl. The kind of quarterback who gives you a reason to stay glued to the screen, even when the Raiders are down by 10 with 2 minutes left, because there's just that chance he pulls off something wild. And more than that, he gives the Raiders something they haven't had in decades. Hope. Not the kind you manufacture during training camp. Not the kind you print on season ticket brochures. But the kind that feels earned. The kind that's backed by proof of concept. Vegas didn't just buy into potential. They bought into intention. Because Shedeur isn't just here to play quarterback. He's here to lead a movement. And now that he's locked in, every snap becomes a statement. Every win becomes a reminder. Every loss, a lesson, not a setback. Every post-game interview, content for days. Every touchdown celebration, a marketing campaign. Every off day, a viral workout. Every Instagram story, a business move. The kid plays 4D chess while throwing 60-yard bombs. And that's what makes this signing so scary for the rest of the league. Because Shedeur isn't overwhelmed by the moment. He is the moment. And if you're not keeping up, you're already behind. Now let's look ahead. Because the pressure, it's building. The fans want wins. The media wants fireworks. The league wants ratings. The Raiders want a savior. And Shedeur wants everything. He doesn't just want to be good. He wants to redefine what greatness looks like. Not just by the numbers, but by the impact. How many other players in their first year could set off this level of economic explosion? Ticket prices? Up. Jersey sales? Spiked. Sponsorships? Calling the Raiders front office nonstop. Primetime slots? Already being shuffled. Vegas tourism? Getting a whole new football-themed facelift. This isn't just about performance, it's about presence. And that presence feels generational. But let's be real, this is still the NFL. And nothing's guaranteed. The pass rush is faster. The defenses are smarter. The mistakes cost more. But you know what Shedeur's already proven? He doesn't flinch. Pressure isn't a threat, it's familiar. And when you've been built in the crucible of spotlight your whole life, this league doesn't scare you. It fuels you. And now that he's been handed the reins, the only thing standing between him and superstardom is time. So let's wrap this all up with one final truth. This Shedeur Sanders signing isn't just a page in the NFL history book. It's the beginning of a new volume. A volume written by players who don't just want greatness, they expect it. Who don't wait for opportunity, they demand it. And who aren't afraid to say, I'm worth every penny. Watch me prove it. What the Raiders just did. That wasn't just a power move. It was a line in the sand. One side, the franchise is still clinging to outdated traditions, recycling backup QBs, praying their third-rounder turns into a miracle because they were too scared to take a swing. The other side, the bold, the unhinged, the visionaries. Vegas didn't just bet big on Shedeur Sanders. They bet on the future of football. And they're not asking for your approval. They're asking for your attention. Because ready or not, the Shedeur era has begun. And you know the best part? He hasn't played a single down yet. That's the real wild part. All this drama, this league-wide tension, the sudden spike in jersey sales, the internal crisis meetings happening in Cleveland's front office. It's all happening before he's even taken a snap in silver and black. That's power. That's star power before the stat sheets, before the touchdowns, before the inevitable highlight reels where he shrugs off a blitz and throws a dime 40 yards downfield like he's just casually tossing a beach ball. It's coming. You can feel it like electricity in the air. The same way you feel something brewing before a thunderstorm, or how a crowd holds its breath right before the beat drops. We're not watching a rookie develop. We're watching a shift unfold in real time. We're watching a league forced to evolve because one player decided he wasn't going to wait his turn. He was going to take the whole table. And here's the real kicker. He's not alone. Every young QB, every blue-chip recruit, every high schooler with a rocket arm and a media team now sees what's possible. You don't need to beg a team to believe in you. You make them build around you. That's what Shedeur just taught the next generation. Not how to throw a football, but how to own your value. And Vegas? They were the first to listen. So now the rest of the league? They're officially on the clock. So what's your take? Did Vegas just make the smartest gamble in franchise history? Will Shedeur rise to the moment, or redefine what the moment even is? Let's hear it in the comments. Don't hold back. And if you're loving this new NFL era, where stars move like moguls and franchises play for keeps, subscribe now. Because this season, we're not watching football anymore. We're watching legend making in real time.